Hey Bagmaker, I'm Sarah Lawson from Sew Sweetness. Thanks so much for joining me for Sewcial Sunday, my weekly sewing chat. Hey everybody, happy Sunday and welcome to Sewcial Sunday. Danny will be joining me on set in just a minute. I see Cheryl's watching from Texas, Flume from New York, Laura from San Antonio, and Robbie is saying hi to myself and Danny. So welcome to Sewcial Sunday. I hope you had a great weekend so far, and I have a few fun things to talk to you about. So first up, the September challenge is underway. In case you're interested in more information, the link to the September challenge is in the description. This month's challenge will be, again, a two-part challenge. You can choose either A or B. The A option is to make a Frisian pouch. That's from Minikin Season 3. Or you can make a bag or pouch using an embellishment such as ribbons, buttons, heat transfer vinyl, ribbon, etc. So all of the details are in that link in the description, and you can also enter a photograph of your finished project there. And I checked earlier today and there were a few projects coming in, and I'm looking forward to seeing all the different types of embellishments that you'll be using with your Sew Sweetness projects. So today my parents very generously gave me a call. I was on my way to drive Violet to the stable for her riding lesson, but they said that they were going to come and help pull weeds as a thank you for Danny drove them somewhere in the middle of the nights last month, and so that was their way of saying thank you for that. So I'm not sure what I was expecting. I think I was expecting maybe an hour, hour and a half. Hello, Danny. They actually say, I can hardly believe this to say it out loud, but they stayed to pull weeds in my yard for 5 hours today. And it looks great. And my dad was so funny on the way out. He said, all right, we'll come another day to finish up this job. And my parents are hilarious. Like, pulling weeds is a hard job, and not that I'm letting the yard go, but I've been working on different sections at a time, and so like I pull weeds and I plant new, I've been planting native Illinois plants, and so I plant the new plants after I pull the weeds in that section. And
there's your mom.
Oh, there's my mom. Glad to help. I guess it just gets a little overwhelming sometimes with all the weeds, and they did an amazing job. And wow, I have yet to pull weeds for 5 hours straight. That was a long day for them.
Nope, I would never do such thing either. Last year I was the only one who pulled weeds at our house.
I had a bad attitude last year. This year my attitude has improved, and I don't know, there's just some weeds that just look really bad, little spiky weeds. I'm not even sure what the name of them are, but they root underground and then they just keep coming up. There's some areas where I've pulled weeds 3 times this year and then they just keep coming back. So got to get more plants in there to push all the weeds out. Also, I wanted to share, this is a set of pouches that I had custom made from one of our group members, Augusta, and I asked her to make me. Augusta is super experienced and a pro at sewing with vinyls, and so I asked her. I love looking at her projects, pictures of her projects in our Facebook group. So I asked Augusta to make me earlier this year 5 Connemara pouches. This is a project from Minikin Season 3, and I asked her to choose like a navy vinyl with some sort of horse embellishment on the front. This was, I believe, transfer. I don't want to speak what kind of transfer it is because I don't even know. I would just be guessing. And she put her custom labels on the back, which I thought were awesome. I'm getting ready to give these soon, I believe, as gifts. So I had ordered 5 of them, all looking the same, all matching, and quilting cotton for the lining. So I just wanted to share Augusta's work before these pouches go off to their new homes. Oh, this is, in case you're wondering, this is a Connemara pouch, but this is size small, just for size reference. There's 3 different sizes for this particular pattern, and this is the smallest of the 3 sizes.
It's funny, Angela R., also Ramirez, says, your mom stole my name, AR in Sacramento. And I was printing orders last week. I saw your order, and I saw Angela Ramirez, and I'm like, wait a second. Then I saw California. I'm like, I know your mom's not in California right now.
That's really funny. Let you talk for a second, if you'll show us your pick of the week.
Sure, my pick of the week is Linda Ashbury. She made a widget into a backpack, as you'll see. And I loved how she placed her fabric, fussy cut it. I assume she did, because I'll go back to the first picture. She's got the zipper pulls right where the little guy's hanging. I'll do it one more time. Look where they're hanging from the zipper pulls. So it looks like he's hanging from the little zipper pulls. This is such a great bag, it's okay to see it twice. I thought, Linda, you did an amazing job. I love the fabric. Sometimes you see fabric, you're like, how can that work? I'm not too big of a yellow fan, but I'll tell you what, this looks awesome. And it makes me think like Michigan Wolverines, like the blue and yellow, very similar. Really awesome widget. Good job, Linda.
How clever to turn that into a backpack. And I didn't even notice those pulls, but yeah, that looks really cute now that you mentioned it.
Yep. I saw so many backpacks coming through the feed. Lots of pump string backpacks and stuff. And it was hard to choose. So many good choices.
Great job, Linda, on a beautiful bag. All right, so a bit of news, and then we're going to get over to some questions in just a second. So we next Sunday, we're going to start showing sneak peeks. I have 4 new patterns coming up. We've filmed 3 of the videos already, so we've got 1 more to go. And we're going to start showing sneak peeks next Sunday. So be sure to tune in for the show. And I'll share with you the first 2 projects, and then the following Sunday, the next 2. And we'll be releasing them at the end of September, both as a 4-pack video bundle and also at the same time, just the single patterns in case you're just interested in one. I did want to let you know that one of the new projects is a backpack. I super love backpacks. I have a couple of backpacks in the pattern stable so far, but I wanted to add another one, and this one is super cool. So be sure to stay tuned for Sewcial Sunday next Sunday for the first 2 sneak peeks out of the new patterns. I'm very excited. How do you feel about the new patterns?
I think they're pretty awesome and one I really like a lot.
All right. All right, I'm going to be answering some questions live. So if you have a question for me, let me know in the comments. It can be a general sewing question, bag making related question, question about a notion or tool. You can type that question in the comments right now, either on Facebook or YouTube, wherever you watch our show. And if you can remember to put either a question mark before your question, type the question mark, or type it in capital letters. It just helps Danny easily pick out the questions from among all the comments that are coming through. If you've forgotten about that, no big deal. Danny's on the job. So, all right, take it away. I see a lot of excitement for the new pattern, so thank you so much for that. Mimi says, I'm curious what Danny's favorite pattern of yours is. That's a great question, Mimi.
It's between the widget and I think the Cumberland backpack. I like backpacks as well, as you could tell. I chose 2 of them, but I like the widget because it's got a lot of options you can do with it. And the Park Sling's a great one because I like the Park Sling too, all 3 of those, because they're easy to, if you want to just throw them on, walk around. They're not huge. They're easy to carry. I've not sewn them, so I can't speak on how the difficulty levels are. But as far as use, I like all 3 of them.
Jan says, how do you store your zippers? I saw some really creative photos recently in our Sew Sweetness Facebook group. However, for me, I think I need a better system because my drawer's overflowing. I have a drawer where I keep just all zippers, but it's sort of overflowed into a second drawer, and they're not organized really nicely. They're just sort of bundled up with a rubber band and sort of thrown in the drawer. So I need a better system. Perhaps, I'm not sure if this was one of the ideas that I saw in the Facebook group, but I have some sort of spindles. If you go to the fabric store, sometimes either ribbon or other notions like, say, nylon strapping are on these little spindles with like square pieces of cardboard on either end. I think that would be really cool to keep zippers on, but like I said, I don't have a lot of those or extras or empties. If you have a really good method for storing your zippers or zippers by the yard, let me know. I guess I was thinking more zippers by the yard, but I showed this on the show maybe 3 years ago. a wall-mounted holder for holding, I think, neckties, and my non-zippers by the yard. I have it on that holder, and I just use some command strips to attach those to the side of my desk. They can go on a wall as well. They used to be on the wall at my old house, but I'm happy with that storage method for storing my regular zippers, but I just need a better method for my zippers by the yard. Susie says, is the widget bag difficult one to make? So this is, I would say, an intermediate pattern. It's sort of a medium-sized bag. There's a few zippers involved. I guess just if you take it section by section, especially if you have the video to sew along with, I think it's completely manageable. And it's currently one of our most popular patterns and one that I see pop up often in the Facebook group. Pat says, Sarah, will there be acrylic templates for the new patterns? That's a great question, Pat. We will have acrylic templates for, I'm not sure if all four. There's one of them with a piece that's quite thin that I think would be really apt to break, but I'll have to take a closer look. I have not ordered acrylic templates yet for the new pattern, so I have to sit down and take a look at all the pieces and make sure they're okay to be made into the acrylic templates. Kim says, how are your hummingbirds? We've slowed down a little bit. I feel like most of the males, at least the adult males, have already started their migration. I do have some in the yard. I added a third hummingbird feeder in a separate location when things were really super busy before the males started migrating, but we still have the females and some of the juveniles left, and I can see them sort of sparring in the yard near where the feeders are. And also I've noticed them attacking other birds like the cardinal and the chickadees, but they're sort of, the hummingbirds are going after these birds nowhere near where the hummingbird feeders are, but I've seen them on at least 5 separate occasions going after the bigger birds, so I found that to be quite interesting. Juliet says, do you have a tutorial for adding a flap over an outside pocket? Actually, I don't, but that's a really great idea for a future tutorial, so I'm going to add that to my list. Give me a second so I can write this down so I can remember what I wrote.
Why am I rushing you?
No, you're not.
I just post them, you answer, I go to the new one. You don't answer, it just sits there.
All right. Thank you for that suggestion. Charlotte says, tips for adding a zipper by the yard to a cork pouch. I'm not sure if it was you, Charlotte. Possibly it was. Someone emailed me right before the show and I didn't have a chance to email back. The question was adding a zipper by the yard to a cork pouch. If the zipper tabs, because I usually like to add a piece of fabric, which I call zipper tabs, to either end of the zipper to sort of finish out the end of the zipper. The question was if those little tabs should be made with cork or quilting cotton. I think it depends. If you can find, depending on what color cork you're using for your pouch, if you can find a similar color of quilting cotton, I think, me personally, I think I might veer toward using the quilting cotton for the tabs because they're quite small pieces. If you were using the tabs from the cork fabric, I might, instead of having the 4 layers folded over, I might just do the 2 layers to kind of reduce the bulk with the cork. If you've made a cork pouch with tabs, let me know in the comments if you used quilting cotton for your tabs or if you did use the cork fabric. Sheila says, what was your most challenging pattern to develop? Oh, that's a good question.
Sewing machine travel bag.
Yeah, that would have to be it. So the sewing machine travel bag, it is one of the longer patterns, but I had to rework it completely twice, which usually doesn't happen to me. The final pattern has the straps sort of woven through the sort of inside of the bag so you don't see them, but the straps come around the bottom of your sewing machine to sort of act as a sling, and so I had to redo the pattern to fit that feature in and also to change the size of the bag because the original bag was too small, not as large as I wanted it to be, so that was probably the most challenging.
Sorry.
That's okay. Linda says, Danny, did you finish your bag? I maybe missed it, busy with family and COVID.
Well, the park sling you're speaking of, which I assume, No, that's gone out the window. I took that fabric, cut it up in small pieces,
No.
and made a persimmons dumpling pouch, and that turned out wonderful. I had the help of Sarah's mom. She was a great asset, and yeah, it turned out great.
I think we showed that video. We made like a 5-minute video of Danny sewing the project. I think we showed that on the show
July.
sometime in July.
First show we came back from break.
Maybe July 11th. So if you're curious to see that video, check that. And we also have it posted. Did we post it separately on the YouTube channel? I don't think we did. Maybe we should do that. Lori says, I've started using satin or other non-cotton for some of my linings. What is the best weight of interfacing? So far, I've just used Woven Fuse on hand, but looking for something a little softer. Woven Fuse is a comparable product to Pellon Shape Flex. If you're looking for something softer, Pellon makes like a trico interfacing, I think sew-in and fusible. The product number is escaping me, but that would be like a lighter weight. I've used it before for like facings in a dress. I feel like I want to look for the package in my drawer, but I feel like I won't find it right away. Feel free to email me after the show, and I'm happy to get you a specific link to that product. My email is sarah@sewsweetness.com, and that's Sarah with no H. Is there an easy way to keep the thread in the thread guide next to the needle? Mine is forever coming out. I guess it depends on your sewing machine. Mine comes out once in a while, irritatingly sometimes on video where it will just unthread and we have to do a separate take to the video. Generally, it does stay threaded. Yeah, this might be a machine dependent issue. Jessie says, I have mine hanging from shower curtain rings on a hanger. Planes, trains, and automobiles gave me the creative idea. Is this for the zipper question?
Yes.
Shower curtain rings. Oh, that's a great idea. I like that idea a lot because it looks like you could fit a lot on there and keep them separated. Anita says, I'm seeing a lot of skinny straps, 1/2 inch or smaller, and wristless this year. Are you doing this too? I don't have a lot of skinny straps and patterns. I'm thinking one of the few is in the Day Trip cell phone wallet. The strap for that bag is quite thin, but I don't have a lot of bags with really thin straps. I have to look into that too, thin straps. Anne says, did you ever adjust the pressure regulator on the Juki TL 2010Q? I have mine set and I sort of leave it there. Once in a while, especially if I'm sewing with a different substrate than normal, I will do a little test sew on a scrap of that fabric or that fabric and interfacing combination. But I'm generally not changing my pressure so often, maybe once or twice a year. Maribel says, how do you feel about using heat moldable by Bosel for the bottom of bags? I'm actually not familiar with that product, so let me write that down to check it out. Heat moldable. I'll look into that and possibly review that on a future show, so thank you for the recommendation. Lori says, I'm looking to buy an industrial machine. Can you mention what features are most important? Thank you. I'm going to be completely honest. I have really no experience at all with industrial machines besides going to a shop and just looking at them. I've never sewn on one. So I know a bunch of you out there do have industrial machines. So if you do, let us know in the comments what your most important features are for an industrial machine. Susan says, are SVG files something that you will consistently provide for new patterns, or do you pick and choose which patterns will get them? That's a great question. We decided at some point, it might have been last year, that all future patterns will have SVG files, projector files, and AO files. AO files are large format paper, which you can usually get printed at a copy shop. Those are, I can't remember the dimensions off the top of my head. I want to say 28 inches by 36 inches. It's a big sheet of paper. So all patterns going forward, including these new projects, will have all of those features, as well as just your regular printable pattern pieces that all the other patterns have. Pam says, very random, but what is the trick to getting the paper backing off the Dritz Wonder Tape? That stuff is cemented on. Great question.
Pinch it.
Can you pass me my little roll right there?
Is there a little piece right to your right?
This is just the paper. So if you're not familiar with Dritz Wash Away Wonder Tape, it's 1/4 inch double-sided tape. So if you peel it off, the first side is sticky, which you would
Sarah,
tape
let's
to...
have a test. We both have a strip and see who peels it faster. Want to do it?
But I don't have any fabric to stick it to.
We'll just cut it to peel apart.
Oh, here's some fabric over here.
I love competitions. I'm very competitive.
So our competition is who is smartest at getting it peeled off?
I don't think smartest is involved. It's who's most athletic, I believe.
Athletic. Okay. All right. So put yours on your...
Which side's sticky?
The side that feels sticky.
They both feel sticky.
Okay.
Is yours down?
Yeah, mine's down.
Ready?
Ready, set, go. Mine got stuck. All right.
Done.
I was done a second before you.
I
Okay,
lied. I peeled it off the original one. I didn't peel it apart.
Okay, so what you do is you stick it to your fabric, or I often use it to attach to zipper tape to make
What
a
was your
zipper
trick
pocket.
to do it?
So my trick to do it, after you stick it on there, I take my fingernail and the corner of where the paper is, I stab it with my fingernail. And then
There's something like with pinching it or something.
if you stab it with your fingernail, that sort of lifts the very
Oh,
corner
okay.
of it, and you can peel it off really easy.
Open it up.
Did you try it? Was it easy?
It was easy,
Okay.
stabbing it in the corner. But the end, does it matter if the edge gets,
Oh, yours got all mangled. Mine looks fine.
well, I was stabbing it firmly.
Okay. No, it doesn't matter if it gets mangled. It is water soluble, so if you happen to see any of the adhesive in your finished project, you can just spritz it with a little bit of water and kind of rub it with your fingernail and it'll disappear. Robin says, do you have a tutorial for the peas and corn lunch bag? Unfortunately, we do not yet have a video for that pattern. I'm so sorry about that. Joyce said, the other day we had 2 sandhill cranes in our yard, made me think of you. I love our sandhill cranes. I love they're very loud. I love seeing them walk past our house, and their babies are just adorable. Their babies are called colts, actually, which is a fun name. They have long legs, and they're just cute. Michelle says, my daughter just told my husband and I we are going to be grandparents next year. Congratulations! Super excited. She asked if I could make a backpack for a diaper bag. Any suggestions what pattern I should use? So I know this is no help to you at this current point in time, but one of the new patterns, the backpack, would be perfect for this. It looks like you have until next year, so I would sit tight and wait for the sneak peeks, and when we get around to the backpack, see if that's to your taste, and I hope you like it, but I think it would work for those purposes. Jan says, I'm thinking of using Decaville Heavy on the Faithwell bins. Have you done this? I actually have. Before I released the pattern, I was actually Decaville Light. I was experimenting with that because I was wondering what it would look like if it was stiffer. I actually put the Decaville Light on the lining fabric, and I think I might have used just Shape Flex for the exterior fabric, and I thought it was too, I don't know, I wasn't perfectly happy with the shape with that particular interfacing. Maybe it's just me, maybe that's just my personal preference, but I did try it, and for whatever reason I went with the foam. It was a couple years now, but that's at least what I can recall from memory. Jacqueline says, do you have a good pattern for storing makeup brushes? Needs to involve vinyl or Odie coat to protect the fabric from staining. From Minikin Season 2, there's one pattern that might work for that. The Kanga Supply Roll. It has, I use quilting cotton for my exterior, but if you wanted to coat the exterior with Odie coat to make it more wipeable, you could. The inside is made with clear vinyls, separate zippered compartments, and they're sort of 3-dimensional, so they could store brushes. Do I have time to run upstairs and grab mine? Because I have brushes in mine.
Adios, amigo.
Can you talk for a second till I come back?
Absolutely.
Okay.
What can we talk about? Oh, going through the Facebook group, it's always refreshing to see how nice people are to each other. Honestly, someone made it was my number 2 pick. They made this really cool Edelweiss backpack, and in this backpack they put these really cool patches from NASA, and they're saying, oh, they put a flap over. Actually, it was a Cumberland backpack. They put a flap over it. I take that back. And she said she was not happy with the way it turned out, but when I looked at it, I thought, this thing looks awesome. I would be so happy and proud to wear that around.
Oh, I was listening to while I was running up the stairs. I think that was Everly's Cumberland backpack that you're talking about.
Yeah, with the flap over it.
Yeah, she added
Are you okay there?
Yeah, I'm trying to get my chair in here. It's sort of stuck. Can I?
We're limited on time. You move over and you can re-slide in.
Yeah, thank you.
All right.
All right, so here's my personal Kanga supply roll, and I actually do use it for my makeup, and I do have brushes in there. I don't know if this is what you're thinking that you might like, but can you take the question off the screen so I can see a little better? So it secures with 2 magnetic snaps, and on the inside...
You know, we could do the overhead even. Have it connected.
No, that's okay. 4 separate zipper compartments. I've got my brushes in this one. And then I don't use a lot of makeup, but I have it segmented by different sections here. So, yeah. And that's from Minikin Season 2. It's called the Kanga Supply Roll. Marie says, did you ever do videos on Craftsy? I did. I think it was 2015, I did a Craftsy class on...
Interfacing.
It was called Building Better Bags, I think Interfacing and Structure. So I talked about different interfacing. I think it's a 2-hour or maybe 2.5-hour class. I talk about different interfacings, talk about different samples. What else? Yeah, that's it. It's funny that it was such a long class for talking about interfacing, but I guess there was a lot to talk about. I filmed it over, I think, 3 days. I flew to Colorado to film the class in their studio, and it was kind of nerve-wracking, to be honest, even though I had to prepare a lot beforehand.
I'll go back to that one.
It was, I think we stayed up 1 or 2 nights till midnight working, which it was a long day, and being on camera. Yeah, but it was a fun experience, and doing the Craftsy class really inspired me to want to do our own videos. And so that's, I don't think, without the Craftsy class, I'm not sure we'd be on our way to doing videos.
That's a new one, sir.
Oh, sorry. Jacqueline says, oh, that might work. I think that was in response to the Kanga supply roll. Thanks. I was stuck thinking I need elastic for each brush. Oh, if you wanted to do elastics for the brushes, perhaps the Creative Maker supply case that has elastics, and you could, depending on the thickness of the brush handles, you could perhaps adapt, make the elastics a little bit wider. Debbie says, do you carry the sparkle webbing to make straps? I'm not familiar with that either, but let me write that down. Sparkle webbing.
Do you have a template for zipper pocket placement? Yes. Go ahead, sir.
That's all you're
I was
gonna
helping
say?
out. Well, you're writing, so I was trying to cover you while you're writing.
If you're interested in our zipper pocket acrylic template, if you just go to sewsweetness.com, in our shop we have a sub-tab for acrylic templates. That section's in alphabetical order, so the zipper pocket would be at the end of that section, or we have a little search box at the top of our website. You could also type in zipper pocket, and that acrylic template should come up. Patricia says, Danny, have you ever helped design a bag or a pouch with Sarah? That's a great question.
The answer is no. Sarah's the mastermind behind it. She may ask me like little details, but generally it's all her brilliantness, because even when we're filming this, I'm asking Sarah, I'm like, I'm just so impressed when you make all these pieces come together. There's so many layers, and with pockets and turning inside out. It's like, I'm a math guy and I love numbers, and I like seeing stuff black and white pretty much. Mm-hmm. Something like that is not like I could wrap my mind around, even comprehend it, and it's amazing she can do that.
Thank you. Lorraine says, I absolutely love when you highlight products in the Q&A. I bought the freezer paper from you based on commentary on your show. Today you opened my eyes to the sewing machine travel bag. Wow, what a brilliant use of an existing cart. The Samsonite compact folding luggage cart. I'll wait until the end of the show to see if I want to add another item to my shopping cart. So I'm so happy that you enjoyed that freezer paper. It's a really helpful tool for cutting out your pieces, especially if you have trouble with accuracy. And I talked about that a few weeks ago on a Sewcial Sunday episode. And one of my favorite things to talk about during the show, when Danny's not on it, of course, is the notion of the week and demonstrating.
Did you say it's your favorite part of the show when I'm not on it every week?
No, I said...
Did I hear that wrong?
No,
I was reading comments.
Misconstrued
and I was like, whoa, Sarah.
Well, I love talking about different notions, and a lot of the notion ideas I get from viewers, so they email me and suggest different notions, and this past week I had a bunch of emailed recommendations for notions, which I promptly purchased and will be reviewed on future shows. So if you ever come across a notion or a product that you think is really neat, please do email me. Again, my email is sarah@soulsweetness.com, and that's Sarah with no H. Chandra says, what pattern would you suggest for a bingo bag? So
Easy. Slow down, Sarah. I
Okay.
got this one.
We'll
It's
see.
the Oslo craft bag. It's a free one. You sign up to our newsletter and you'll get it right in your email. It's got a million. I used to go to bingo with my mom, so I'm very familiar with this subject. I don't think even Sarah's even been in a bingo
I wasn't
hall.
going to suggest that
Have you
one,
been in a bingo hall before?
I have not.
Oh, see, I've got you covered. A bingo bag, Oslo bag's perfect because one, it's got these outside pockets. You can put your dabbers, your chips. Stuff's may have changed. It's been 20 years since I've been in a bingo hall. Actually, probably 25 years. But I'll tell you what, that thing's got a lot of space and pockets to hold stuff. But go ahead, Sarah. What was your selection?
Well, my suggestion was only based on bags I've seen in our Facebook group that people did make for bingo bags, and I saw a few people make
dang,
the
I lost this one.
Jet Set cinched bag from Minikin Season 1 for a bingo bag. They just added either pockets or mesh pockets to the outside for the, is it called a dabber?
That's, the little...
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
They also have a magnetic wand and magnetic chips that the dabbers from when I played, it's at the end of the game because you get cards and use these cards throughout every game they play until the very end. Then you take your dabber out and you actually dab the last time because generally you're using the cards over and over with the random numbers on there.
So you use, for different rounds, you use the same cards?
Yeah, so you get this one card and for 10 rounds I'm going to use it with these little magnetic chips and a magnetic wand to peel it off.
Okay.
And the last round you actually dab it. I don't know why they don't use it for the last round too. Maybe because you turn it in, it's usually like a larger win amount.
Oh, okay.
But
I didn't realize that
I
you
enjoyed
used the
bingo,
cards.
honestly.
That's interesting.
I would totally go to bingo again. Maybe if there's someone in the area that say, hey, there's a great bingo place, I'd like, I'd probably go to it, to be honest. I enjoyed it, and my mom would let me play as a kid, and I really enjoyed it.
Interesting. Any tips on keeping the structure of a bag? Is it combining interfacing, thermal web, fleece interfacing, and foam? Both leave my bags floppy. So I hate to give such a general answer, but sometimes it just depends on the style of the bag and the interfacing combination. Like some bags are just
Too heavy for their...
I don't even know.
Structure?
Like some bags might have a top zipper. Some might have like an opening along the top, but maybe a flap to close
What's
it
that
or a
bag
zipper.
over there? We're not going to say what it is, but what's that bag construction-wise?
Foam and fusible fleece.
Okay. Well, it's a larger bag, and it's holding its
Yeah, so that's why
size.
it just completely depends. Sometimes I add some Peltex or Decovil Heavy. If you're ever unsure of a project that you're working on and you need a little help with suggestions for the interfacing, again, you can always email me and I'm happy to help.
So many questions for me tonight. I love it.
Jesse says, so Danny, what game is your current favorite?
I currently like Rocket League and Heroes of the Storm. Probably the two most games I've played in the past week. But thank you for asking.
Jan says, have you ever used Scotchgard to waterproof a bag? I did do a demonstration a few years ago, and you can find this video on my YouTube channel if you just type Scotchgard in the So Sweetness search box on YouTube. That video should come up. Scotchgard kind of resists stains and keeps your bags looking nice. So I don't use it on a regular basis, but if I was selling bags or giving a lot of them as gifts, I'd probably consider using it. And a good tip is always to test it on a little scrap of your fabric first, just to make sure it works as you'd hoped and doesn't do things like, say, discolor the fabric in any way. Magnetic wand is the best tool for collecting straight pins off your sewing surface or hunting for strays on the floor.
That's a great tip.
Yeah, because you want to keep things safe in the sewing room for sure.
Imagine if you had carpet on the ground and you dropped a pin or a pile of pins, and trying to find them all would probably be pretty difficult.
Yeah, an animal or a child or even adult could get hurt.
Yourself, I'd worry about numero uno first and foremost.
Laura says, are there any minikins that use only fat quarters? I think, so for Minikin Season 1, from my memory, I think almost all of the projects, except maybe one, perhaps, are fat quarter friendly, which means you can use a fat quarter for the exterior and a fat quarter for lining. For Minikins 2 and 3, maybe a few, but certainly not as many as Minikin Season 1. Jaded says, Danny should run the show while Sarah does the camera and the computer.
I think half that would work right, because I feel like I could be on the show, but I don't think Sarah could run the technical equipment.
No, I sure couldn't. But our son just started taking video production classes in
Yep.
school, so
It's funny because he got to pick some classes for high school, and I'm like, he didn't know what to pick. I'm like, wait, these would be pretty good because if you ever want to get into what we're doing, we have all this equipment. You could do your own thing, not even just help with our show, but just run his own show, or whatever he'd like to do. I'm like, this would be a great avenue, and I can help you with it. And he's doing it now, and he's liking it. But he's like, I could have had a free period over this, and I'm like, it's your first class of the day. He's like, yeah, but I could have been. I'm like, well, you wouldn't have done homework in that free period if they made you. So you'd probably be sleeping around his phone looking at TikTok. But
it was funny because when he actually got his schedule, I remember him saying something like, well, this video production class, what would I ever do with this? And like I was like, hello.
yeah. Danny, what editing software do you use? I just recently switched. I was using Adobe Premiere. Adobe Premiere. Sorry if I said it incorrectly. As I said, I was using Adobe Premiere. And now I am using, DaVinci Resolve. And I'll tell you what, I love DaVinci Resolve. It is completely free as far as I know. There's like a basic one you can get from their website, but for what we do for videos, the basic covers mostly all the stuff I was using in Adobe. And it's free. Did I mention that?
And what's the name of it again?
DaVinci Resolve.
I didn't even know you changed software.
Well, when I changed computers, I was looking at different options.
Okay.
Yep.
Patricia says, I read Taylor's Canvas is good as an interfacing. Have you used it, Sarah? I have not, but I'll write that down to check it out.
We get asked this a few times, and Sarah ever considered doing a blooper sewing video? There really aren't sewing bloopers. The only blooper would be running out of thread in the sewing machine. Would be the extent of it, unless I intentionally cue Sarah and I'll say, we had a problem, I didn't hit record, or the record didn't start, and she gets upset when I make jokes like that. So I can only do it like once a day, and
he did it yesterday, and like what he just said, like he'll usually say something like, oh, I have bad news, we'll finish a take, and he'll be like, I have bad news, it wasn't filming.
And it'll be like a 5-minute take, because I'll do it when it's a long one.
And then he tells me he's joking, and I get pretty mad.
Yeah, so I enjoy it. Why? Because I get a laugh out. I've tried to make the day go.
That's not a good joke, though.
To me, it is, because when it's boring, I'm sitting there just clicking the same button over and over. I'll do something to make my happiness elevate.
Renee says, can you have a show with William and Violet on, please?
I've tried getting them on shows. They're not comfortable. They're not ready. When they are ready, I'm sure that we'll have them on here. But until they're comfortable and ready, it's probably not going to happen. That's all the questions in my queued section.
Oh.
How many books have you written, sir?
I have written 2 books with the publisher Martingale Publishing. The first one came out in 2013. It was called Big City Bags. And my second book came out in 2015, and it was called Windy City Bags. And I submitted a third proposal to my publisher, and this was years ago already. And they said no, they turned me down, but refusal, those projects, that was Minikin Season 1. Anita says, have you used drywall tape for interfacing? I bought some Friday. I have not. Are you familiar with drywall tape?
I'm familiar with 2 kinds. There's a mesh kind of drywall tape, so it's like overlapping, like little lines, almost like nylon, it feels like. And the second kind is paper. So I'm not sure how paper would apply, because it goes in a mud machine and you get slided out and it comes with the drywall compound.
Are you planning to use the tape to connect like 2 scraps of, say, foam interfacing? I'm not familiar with the drywall tape, but when you said it was mesh, it reminded me, Pellon makes
and it is sticky to the mesh.
Okay, Pellon makes seam tape like on a roll, and I've used that before. You know what? Maybe that's another good tutorial. I'll talk about that on a future Social Sunday, the Pellon seam tape. I don't think I've talked about it. But who knows? We've been doing these videos for almost 5 years, and sometimes I forget of things I talked about previously. Joan says, how can you tell the right side from the wrong side of waterproof canvas? They look the same to me. So at least the OtterTex waterproof canvas that I bought in the past, one side looks clearly like canvas, and to me the other side looks like it was coated with something probably that's the waterproof portion. I'm not sure if they're all the same or if there's differences. But this was just the OtterTex type that I bought. And by the way, I found it on Etsy. So I just typed OtterTex canvas in the search box on Etsy, and I found a bunch of listings. Janet says, how do you know how much thread is on your bobbin when you have a side-loading bobbin, Sarah? I don't. It's sort of a... Sometimes it happens during the... Yeah, it's a roll of the dice. And especially when we're filming a video. Yesterday when we were filming...
And I literally, because I saw the thread, and I'm thinking to myself, I wonder if she's out of the bobbin. Because I saw a thread come outside, and literally the same take, it's like empty. And I'm like, oh, I should have said something.
Sometimes, like yesterday, I just kept sewing because I didn't realize that the bobbin thread had run out. And I told Danny, I was like, we're just going to leave it like that because they saw, you can see clearly that I'm sewing it on the video, and maybe you won't see that there's thread. Maybe you will, but I think you get the idea for at least the sewing demonstration. What is your favorite Tula Pink fabric? Oh, that's a tough question. I don't know. I always say like all her lines are my favorite, and then another line comes out and I'm like, oh, this is my new favorite. And Foxfields was my favorite fabric line of hers for many years.
Oh, mine was the little girl.
And I also love Birds and the Bees, those two fabric lines. If I had to say, I'd probably say those two are my favorite, and maybe Line Work, which is a more current one.
What's the little girl? And it's like
the Alice in Wonderland?
No, old. It's very Nightshade.
Oh, the Halloween themed fabric?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
That's my favorite.
Oh, yeah, I love
Then
Nightshade
it's actually,
too.
I like Double Luna actually better than Nightshade, but those two are my favorite easily.
Are there any previous minikins still available for sale? Yes, you can purchase seasons 1, 2, and 3 of the minikins. They're available on my website now. I don't know. I guess I was going to say something else, but I don't know what that was. Barbara Ann says, my grandson is in his last semester at Arizona State University in video production. I hope he can find a job in that field. He is an A student. What do you think, Danny?
Well, first, Barbara, congratulations on your grandson. He'll be graduating soon. I think he'll easily find a job because I feel in video currently, it's a very large platform that's growing very fast, and I feel there'll be a lot of opportunities available, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me too. SVG files or previously bought patterns free, or do they have to be purchased? So we have SVG files for some free patterns as well as some for sale patterns, and you can find which ones we have SVG files available for if you go to the sewsweetness.com website, and under the pattern section there's a tab that you can click on for SVG files, and all of those will pop up. Laura says, do you have a pattern with box corners both on bottom and top with a zipper? I'd love a tutorial on the top zipper. So if you're just curious to see a video on that, I do have a free pattern and video for the Windsor pouch, and that's a boxed pouch. I use a lace zipper for that, but if you're looking for another boxed pouch, let's see, Minikin Season 3 has the Brumby pouch, which is a boxy pouch, but it's tall, and then I also have the Annex double zip box pouch. That one has 2 zippers instead of 1 on the top. The first one I mentioned was free though, the Windsor pouch. I have a hard time remembering the names sometimes. There's so many.
Well, yeah, because it's growing.
Cindy says, my baby lock lets me know when it is close to running out of the bobbin thread.
That's a cool feature.
Yeah, that is a cool feature. I've noticed that on other sewing machines, but I have never had one on any of the machines that I've owned.
It's interesting when stuff becomes a standard across all machines. And something like that, to me, seems like a necessity, especially when you're spending a large portion of money on it. But I guess some machines are not computerized as much, so.
Well, like, for me, the most important details on my machine are the automatic threader, the thread cutter.
Thread cutter is very nice.
Yeah, those are probably my top 2.
I remember watching videos online, on YouTube primarily, with people sewing, and I saw people just cutting quite often, and Sarah's not having that. I'm like, it seems like such a nice thing. It's a small thing that goes a long way because you use it so often when you're sewing, but it's a small thing. It's little creature comforts.
Yeah, for sure. Are you calling in on the questions?
Yeah,
okay, I apologize if I did not get to your question live, but I'll be back again next Sunday answering more questions. And don't forget, the sneak peeks start next Sunday, so you want to tune in for that. Did I announce the winner of last week's giveaway already? I don't think I did.
Announce it again.
All right, in case I didn't, the winner of last week's giveaway is Phyllis Chambliss, and then last week's prize was a $40 gift certificate for the winner, and then a second $40 gift certificate for the winner's friend of their choosing. So congratulations to you, Phyllis. Please email me after the show so that I can get you connected with your prize. My email is sarah@sewsweetness.com, and thanks again for watching. And I have another giveaway for tonight's show. We're going to be drawing one randomly drawn winner out of those that comment on this show, either on Facebook or YouTube. We combine all of the comments together. I'll draw the winner at the end of the day this Saturday and announce the winner on next Sunday's show. The giveaway prize for this week is a pack of Renaissance ribbons. These are gorgeous ribbons, great for using to embellish your projects, especially since we have the September challenge going on right now, and one of the challenges was to use an embellishment such as ribbons. So these are from Tula Pink's Tula Pink's line work fabric line. So these are mostly black and white
I was going to say, those would match pretty much any color because it's got a variable.
Yeah, there's a little pop of color in each of the ribbons, and the ribbons are in different widths, and they're just great for top stitching and adding to your fabric.
What's your favorite one out of that pack?
Well, I love horses and zebras, so it's probably hard to see, but this one it's white and it has a zebra on it.
I like the top one. It's like a
one?
filigree. Yeah, I like the darker color. This one sort of makes my eyes go like, ooh. Like, it's almost like a...
This one is like a peacock feather, so that's this top ribbon over here.
Very cool.
So, anyway, that's the prize. I'll give you one additional question to answer in the comments as your entry. And my question is, what is the quickest
No, this is wrong.
Oh.
Oops. Close. Go ahead.
What is the quickest Sew Sweetness project that you've made? So let me know in the comments which is the fastest Sew Sweetness project that you've ever made. I know there's a great variance in, for instance, the 6 quick cork projects. Those were like 10 minutes each. And then the sewing machine travel bag we have on the other end, probably the longest project. So let me know in the comments what's the quickest.
The persimmons was pretty quick for me.
Yeah, I think you had a 2-hour sewing time approximately for that.
Were you timing me?
What's all this stuff you're putting on the screen?
I was clicking another button and that popped up. I'm not sure.
Well, thank you so much for joining us for Sewcial Sunday. I hope you have a great week and happy sewing. Bye everybody.
Everyone.